Peace, infinite waters, diving deep once again. We are out here in nature, baby. Jurassic Park. Breathing in that good ass prana. 10 things people with anxiety do nobody in the whole world gets. As a psychologist, as a counselor, as an infinite being, but also as someone who has lived with anxiety in the past, I got a whole lot to share with you. And I get over 1,000 messages every single day from people writing to me saying that they have a lot of anxiety, sometimes even high functioning anxiety. And we ain't even had breakfast yet. Can I get a hello? So let me share with you what's helped me along my journey. I say that all anxiety emanates from a desire not to be present. Slow motion this side. Let me repeat that. All anxiety emanates from the desire to not be present. We'll come to that later. The first thing people with anxiety do, no one in the whole world gets, is that you get invited to parties and you never show up, do you? No, you don't. No, you don't. I'm 15 years old. I get invited to a lot of parties around that time. You're 15. That's what happens, right? And I'm like, I'm not going. I don't feel like going. Then what happens? I start making excuses of why I can't go to this party. And then when I'm even 17 and 18, it's the same thing. Well, I've got to take care of the cat down the road. Cat down the road? Yeah. It needs you to be around it all the time. Yeah. So sorry. Okay. Is that you out there always making excuses when people ask you to go out? You're like, oh, something came out. So what helped me along my journey, when we talk of becoming your greatest version, be honest with yourself and with other people. One of the 4 agreements, great book, by the way, and Feel Alive is a great book, right? Is be impeccable with your word. So you don't have to lie to people because you don't want to go. Just say, I don't want to go because I'm pretty anxious right now. And that will actually help you deal with anxiety in a better way. You see, if you are someone who, like me, when I was 15, used to make a lot of excuses of why I didn't want to go out, history has a strange way of repeating itself. They call you next week. Oh, hi. Do you want to go out? It's a long isn't it? And then it's, sorry, I've got to fix the washing machine. Don't worry about it. Think of something better next time, right? Nobody's going to believe that. But it worked. But then they phone again next week and it's the same thing. So learn to be honest. Look, if they are your real friends, they will never judge you for being you. And that will actually help alleviate your anxiety. What's the second thing people with anxiety do nobody in the whole world gets? Every decision you make, there is a battle raging in your mind. Like, should I wear this or should I wear that? Should I go for the white or the blue? Maybe the black or the pink. Where did my keys go? Okay. Should I travel here? Should I travel there? Should I even be a human being? Am I good enough? Should I buy those organic strawberries or just the regular ones? Gosh, that's like a dissertation. And we ain't even had breakfast yet. Okay? Many people with anxiety are perfectionists. So when I was young, in the psychology lecture room, my psychology lecturer told me that perfectionism is a curse. I said, what? He said, yeah, it's a curse. Now, it's wonderful to really work hard at something, but what helped me along my journey to deal with my anxiety was to realize you can only do your best. Don't beat yourself up because you didn't get it perfect. What is perfect? What you call perfect, I may not find perfect. So many people with anxiety are perfectionists. And because of that, when you are a perfectionist, you always put yourself down. And when you put yourself down, you never feel good enough. And when you never feel good enough, you'll never do anything. So that means you're going to be procrastinating. You're going to be waiting. You're going to be living your whole life in the waiting room. Excuse me. We got things to do, right? So I realized I had things to do. And when you got things to do, you can't let anxiety get in the way. Life is too short to be spent in the waiting room. Slow motion this side. Let me repeat that. Life is too short to be spent in the waiting room. Life is too short to be spent in the waiting room. It's time to go out there. It's time to start living your life right now. What's the third thing people with anxiety see? What's the third thing people with anxiety do that nobody in the whole world gets except one person and the cat down the road? Is that 7-day vegan challenge. You eat foods and you drink drinks that you know are bad for your anxiety, that you know only make your anxiety worse. And what kinds of foods are these? We're talking about artificial sweeteners like aspartame, okay? This is gonna make your anxiety worse. Sugar, refined sugars, table salt, which gives rise to all kinds of cardiovascular diseases. We want to live forever, baby. Okay? So I started to realize that coffee was not good for me, right? High caffeine is not good for anybody with anxiety. But what happens is that people with a lot of anxiety often even write to me. And sometimes I give consultations to people with cups of coffee in their hand. And they're like, I got anxiety right now. I'm like, put the coffee down right now. So I get it. It's hard to stay away from junk food. But I've been a vegan for over 13 years. I have inspired millions of people to go vegan. This channel has over 1 billion minutes watched. We are promoting, we collectively deep divers, the plant-based diet because that helped me heal anxiety. I used to have panic attacks and anxiety attacks on the train going to school as a child. I've never had any anxiety attack since the last 10 years because I've been a vegan, because I've been eating a plant-based diet, because I've been getting high levels of magnesium. Magnesium is what you want if you have anxiety, right? Because it calms the nerves. Watercress, the most nutrient-dense vegetable in the world, packed full of magnesium. Alcohol, if you are a drinker, you want to stay away from too much alcohol because it's going to make your anxiety worse, because alcohol inhibits serotonin production. Don't make me get deep on you, right? You want to be looking at the tryptophan foods. The cacao full of tryptophan is going to produce more serotonin, which is going to help you calm down. Let's just breathing in that good ass prana, baby. What's the fourth thing people with anxiety do nobody in the whole world gets? Just because I look calm it doesn't mean that I am calm, right? A lot of people with anxiety are bloody good actors and actresses. They're really good. Like, you could never tell they had anxiety because they're just like so mellow. But inside, they're shaking in their boots, right? So what helped me along my journey? I realized that I had to not only look good for the outside world, I had to feel good within myself. And that actually helped me deal with my anxiety. It's not about just people pleasing, right? We talked about that because that will make your anxiety worse. And a lot of people with anxiety are expert people pleasers. Always seeking external validation. It's time to win yourself over. Let me repeat that. It's time to win yourself over. It's time to win yourself over. It is time to win yourself over. And that's what helped me overcome anxiety. So let's talk about the fifth thing people with anxiety do. Nobody in the whole world gets. All anxiety emanates from the desire to not be present. So people with anxiety have a desire, well, you guessed it, to not be present. And that was me along my early journey. I was always thinking about the future. I was always trapped in the past. I was running away from myself. People with anxiety are constantly running away from themselves. They're constantly running away from the here and now. So the great psychologist Fritz Perls said, be in the here and now. And that is fantastic advice. And that's what I tell people as well. Be in the here and now, and that will help you deal with anxiety. But how do we get to the here and now? Meditation. 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 Right? 432 Hertz. Listen to it right now. That will calm you down. Music is the universal language. And I healed my anxiety through music, right? How can I become present by listening to music? When you become attuned to your senses, when you hear a bird right there, hear one over there, right? That's how you become present. You start becoming mindful of what is happening right in front of you. Oh my gosh, there's a massive plane. Okay, so what is the sixth thing? What is the sixth thing people with anxiety do nobody in the world gets, in the whole world gets, okay? You are afraid of the unknown. In fact, tomorrow, dun dun dun, is your worst nightmare, right? So what happens when you are afraid of tomorrow happening? It means that you get the not so good butterflies in your stomach. Because like when you're in love, you get the beautiful butterflies. When you have anxiety, it's that really uncomfortable butterfly feeling, right? That's what happens because you're afraid of the unknown. Uncertainty scares the living daylights out of you. And that's how it was for me. I would kind of like dread, oh my gosh, next month is coming. I don't want it to come. Why, Ralph? Nobody knows. But now, I don't care about what's happening next month or what happened last year. All I care about is right now and my peace. You see, the future is nothing more than a continuation of the present moment. Slow motion this side. It will come soon enough. What I found out that helped me deal with anxiety was to concern myself with the present moment. So let's talk about the seventh thing people with anxiety do that nobody in the whole world gets, okay? You create Do you have anxiety? Have you ever had anxiety in your life? You create imaginary scenarios in your head, the worst possible outcomes, what's probably going to go wrong, and it never does. I'm so sorry about that, but it just never happens. But wait a minute, Ralph, in my mind, it seems so real that I was going to just fall on my ass again. You didn't. Not this time anyway. Maybe in the next 5 minutes. Because you're always creating the worst possible outcomes for yourself, life has become very hard indeed. I'm asking you today, how to deal with anxiety is to let go. That's all you have to do. Let go and surrender. You see, when you focus on everything that could go wrong, you miss out on the opportunity on everything that could go right or left, because I'm left-handed, right? Why is it always right? So, recognize that today. What is the 8th thing people with anxiety do that nobody in the whole world gets? You have the epic freeze moment. So, anxiety is not just happening in the mind, it's happening in the whole body. It's what we call psychosomatic, right? A lot of people with anxiety, their body language is a low power pose, right? Hunched up shoulders, not too confident, a strained neck, bad posture. So I started to realize that was me. Then I got on the yoga mat, and then everything turned out to be beautiful, okay? If you have anxiety, become aware of your posture. Once you become aware of your posture, to straighten your back, learn how to breathe deep from the base of your spine. What I do is breathe for 4, hold for 4, and then exhale for 4, right? And that works wonders for dealing with anxiety. It's all in the breath. Many people with anxiety are only shallow breathing. You want to be breathing right from the base of your spine to alleviate all anxiety and to get you out of that freeze moment. Like, have you ever, sometimes, if you've ever had anxiety, you'll know about this, like just walked into a room and just freeze and say, what am I doing here? Nobody knows. Okay, don't worry about it. What's the 9th thing people with anxiety do that nobody in the whole world gets? So people with anxiety are actually pretty popular. That's probably why they have a lot of anxiety, because everyone's always inviting them to parties, and just this time they decided to go. But guess what? They are in this social setting, right? And now they just left without a warning. You're like, where did you go? But don't feel like they are trying to insult you, they're trying to offend you. It's just that that's what a lot of people do with anxiety, right? So I used to do that sometimes. Well, actually, the music was pretty crap. It's a whole nother story. But if you have anxiety, you might catch yourself doing that, like slipping away from like gatherings or events or people's parties and not telling anyone. But if this happens to you, if someone you know has anxiety and they just left your party, don't feel insulted by it. Realize it's because they have anxiety. Now, you, the person with anxiety, realize this, that it's okay to leave a party early. It's okay to leave a social setting early if it is respecting your energetic boundaries. You really got to learn how to take one step at a time. And that really helped me deal with anxiety. And then I stayed a bit longer at the party, then a bit longer, then I just left because I had to go home and actually spend time with the cat down the road. What is the 10th thing people with anxiety do that nobody in the whole world gets? People with anxiety never ask for help. But if they do ask for help, help me. They really need it. They're not kidding when they say help me. You better help them, because people with anxiety, if you've ever had anxiety, which is pretty much a lot of people on the planet, you don't like to ask for help, do you? No. I never liked to ask for help. But when I did, it's like, can you help me? There's a dinosaur coming towards me. Right? Back to the Future. Right? Okay. So, people with anxiety, be aware that if they ask you for help, help them. Because many people with anxiety love to put other people's needs before their own. And you, as someone with anxiety, realize this, that it's okay to ask for help. Like, I ask for a lot of people's help. Sometimes I don't even ask. People just offer me help and I'm like, I'm taking that. Right? My book, Feel Alive, on Amazon. A world-class artist who has made artwork for massive companies like Sony designed my book cover. Right? I'm grateful. I was like, thanks, right? So it's okay to ask for help. I got so many millions of deep divers helping me every single day. It's unbelievable. And I love it because I'm going to continue to ask for help. If I need something, I'm going to ask for it. And then just say, feels so good to be alive, baby. Can I get a hello? We are out here. You hear those beautiful birds? It is such a beautiful day today. Have a beautiful day. We're out here getting high off the good ass prana. Have a beautiful day. Infinite waters. Diving deep once again. Stay well. Stay healthy. Peace. You.